So once again, I'm back with one of these video essays on filmmakers that I particularly like. Oh wait. Yeah. So I have to talk to this thing pretty quickly because I don't know how much room I have on this SD card. So once again, I'm doing one of these video essays on directors and cinematographers and all sorts of people who I particularly like in movies that I've watched and loved. I learned a few things and I hope that you guys will learn a few things too. So I did one on Malik Hassan Saeed, great DP for work that he's done with Spike Lee, and one of my favorite, Hype Williams. Hype Williams is one of my first, if not definitely one of my first influences in understanding film. I have a music background, and in my music background, one of the things you tend to do is watch music videos. In my years of growing up watching music videos since the days of MTV, which is no longer weird, and a lot of good stuff came out of there. Now, not thinking hindsight, will I ever be into the film end of it from a musical background? It does make sense. Didn't think anything of it. Looking at a lot of work from a lot of the great cinematographers who are doing movies and all kinds of TV shows and stuff now, they got their start from doing music videos. And Hype Williams is one of them. David Fincher is another. David Fincher is one of my favorite cinematographers who's got his start doing music videos in the early 80s into the 90s. And one of my favorite videos that he's done is Freedom by George Michael. Extremely cinematic, beautiful. At the time, I wasn't using words like cinematic. I just knew it was shot very well, and I liked the way it looked. Same goes for Hype Williams. His stylizing of his videos in this dark, airy kind of world, depending on what song he decides to pick, always looks really interesting. And for lack of a better word, it always looked cinematic. Now, I like to study these types of things because it's making me learn what I didn't learn in school. I did go to school to learn some things in film. I really went to school to get the equipment, to get the job, which I did, and now I want to learn a little bit more than what school was ever teaching me. In this day and age, you're really dealing with a lot of cinema cameras that are more digitized. Everything is digitalized. No more film stock, no more having to go out and spend hundreds to thousands of dollars on film. You could easily do lots of what you need to do with one of these, an SD card. And these are now your film stock. So depending on the size of these SD cards, you get hours upon hours of footage as opposed to film stock. Once you have film stock, you're stuck with whatever time length you have to film upon that film stock. It's no different from in the music world. When you have a 2-inch tape, you really don't have that much space on that tape to fill a whole album's worth of music. You would be given a certain amount of space and time depending on the length of the song. One song could fit on a 2-inch tape. You might get 2 out of it. And it's something that you don't want to always go over and go over and go over. You deteriorate the quality of the 2-inch, or any tape for that matter. Tape is a very sensitive format. So these are not as sensitive. You could film upon these endlessly, erase, delete, start over, and repeat. And this is the beauty of the digital world. But we lose a little bit of some of those interesting, artistic, well, I don't even want to say artistic, just those little nuances that make film what it looks like. No different from 2-inch tape to music. And just like David Fincher, Hype Williams also got his start doing music videos. And he's done a ton of work for different artists in the music video world, primarily hip hop. And I still love watching some of his stuff up to this day. And as mentioned before in the video discussing about Saeed's work, one of my favorite videos is The Craziest, or is it just Craziest? It's a Naughty by Nature song with a complete, gritty, dark, rich colored, heavy contrast look. And a lot of the slow-mo that I like in there is done in the way that I think most people see slow-mo as it is. Even though he did something slightly different in Belly, this one here, superb. But we're not gonna just so much talk about the videos that he's done. I wanna actually dig into what did he use to create some of these looks that he did when he did it, what he did. For The Craziest video, done in 1995, he used Reflex SR2 and lens combination Zeiss Super Speed primes, something I think he tends to use a lot in a lot of his work. With a focus of 9.8 millimeters rectangular and a 12 millimeter and 16 millimeter film, with a 16 millimeter lens choice. Those were his those are really fast. I'm not sure what the T-stops were for these lenses, but these are pretty wide lenses that he uses. And he probably just actually goes close to whenever he wants to go close with the wide lens, because there are some medium close-ups, so he didn't probably push in too much. So having those choices and then using this particular camera makes a great combination for the look that he was going for. So with the Reflex SR2, this is a 60 millimeter small kind of compact camera, easy to use, so you could easily reload and unload, or reload and unload, whatever the case is, making it quick for the work that he was trying to do. But it also gives to a grainier look that I think was what he was going for, which is something that I like. I like a little bit of film grain in my work whenever I do digital stuff. And some of these videos, I put a little bit of film grain in here, even though I didn't really use a film camera. But he was able to do so, and film stock gives grain as well as other aspects that can be done with some of these things, these SD cards. You can't necessarily get a film grain look on here. You have to kind of do it through camera. But for the most part, he used the Reflex SR2 for that purpose. I'm not sure what the cost was, I'm not sure what the film stock he used, but it really gave a really nice look. I would love to reduplicate that in this day and age. The camera used for Belly is the Reflex 35BL4 with the same Zeiss Super Speed primes, but the primes that he used for this one were different, or the millimeter lenses that he was using for this one were slightly different. Between Hype Williams and Saeed, now, whose idea was it to pick these cameras and to pick these lenses? It seems like this may be a bit of both actually, because Saeed was definitely a collaborator. He was the cinematographer for Belly itself. So maybe the influence may have come from Hype, don't know. But Hype actually did Craziest first before he did Belly. So I'm gonna say that maybe some of this stuff came from Hype himself with some collaboration from Saeed. Having probably worked with both of these types of films, these film cameras from Ari, I think they understood what they were looking for. And I think they achieved what they got from using such cameras. He's definitely, I think, switched up his style a little bit from being super dark to actually being a little bit bright in something that he's done for West Side Gun and, is it West Side Gun and I forgot the guy's name, Griselda. He's done some work for Griselda. But that video, still, again, looking cinematic, and you could tell that he's used somewhat of the modern day technology, green screen, all white. It's just, crazy angles and stuff like that. But the darkness doesn't actually come into some parts of the video. Either way, his composition is what I think I love most, as opposed to not what he used camera-wise, not what he used lens-wise, not what he used lighting techniques or anything like that. I think his composition is really what makes a lot of his work stand out from most of the music videos, especially in the rap genre. Now, there are other great cinematographers who do music videos, and they've ventured out to do several other things. And one of the things that I like about most of these cinematographers is their composition, as well as what they've used, why they used it, when did they use it, all kinds of stuff, all the questions that we all want to know and love. But composition is one of the things that I love mostly from Hype Williams. He's done another video that I actually like called The Kingdom, that he's done for Common. I forgot, that was done in the early 2000s, 2014. And the composition for that, again, is very well executed. And I love the story that's being told, even though we don't see the face of the character in the video. It doesn't matter, because the story is being told, and you can watch it and see what you get out of it. Hype Williams is one of the most influential filmmakers of his time, even in this time, even up to now, I think. Even though he hasn't really done anything, I think, in quite some time, or at least I haven't been following what he's been doing. But one of the works that I love the most is Belly and The Craziest. Those two, for some odd reason, got me a little bit interested in how did he achieve this? How is this achievable? Can it be done with a camera such as mine? Maybe it can, maybe it can't. I believe it could, but I would need a lot of other components to make such work look like such. Hype Williams is one of my favorite, and I hope he becomes one of yours too. Check out his work. If you've never really watched Billy, I implore you, watch it. And check out some of his music videos for those who are interested in doing music videos. I think music videos are the quickest way to actually get your hands wet. Everybody, if you've never done music videos, you've probably done weddings. And those two genres, or those two fields, open you up to how to actually capture cinematic look. We don't want to just point the camera and make it look like a regular videotape. We want to actually get some creaminess, some dreaminess, some cinematic looks. I'm overusing that word. We really want to stand up with the work that we're about to do when it comes to composition. And composition is what makes your look cinematic. Hey, it's the word that we hate to say, but understand the need of it. So Hype Williams has definitely accomplished that throughout all of his body of work, and I would like to do the same, and I think most of you guys would like to do the same too. Pick your favorite director, pick your favorite cinematographer, pick your favorite cam op, and watch and study what they do, and learn from what they do if there's any kind of behind the scenes stuff. I was always into that stuff when I was a kid, not realizing, again, I was gonna fall into this genre of movie. I thought I was just gonna stick with music and call it a day. But nope, it transferred over. Who do you guys like and who do you guys watch? Hit me. And I was gonna try that thing. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna say good day.